What is up, Nerf Nation? It's your boy Nomadico, and you know what? I am here. Uh, of those things that, for those of you who don't know, a lot of us Nerf tubers, we actually get to know each other pretty well. We communicate on the daily. For example, Gims Mods and I, we actually have a pretty decent working relationship. I send him stuff that I need to go ahead and actually get reviewed for from the Blaster Consortium, and sometimes some of the things that he gets that are super expensive, I usually tell him, hey, go and actually let's go down on purchasing this blaster together. It's something that we know that neither of us is really going to necessarily keep. So what we'll do is that we'll just, it's keep. So what we'll do is that we'll just, you know. Anyways, sorry about that. My computer was just talking to me. We'll go and actually double down on some of the pricing of the blasters, and he'll get it first, and he'll review it. Then he'll send it to me for review. So he decided to actually write to me and be like, "Hey, you know what? I want to send you a gift for Christmas." I sent him a couple of things. Hopefully, he'll be doing an unboxing and showing off what I made him. I made him a Calypso because the one that he got from Out of Darts was, well, a little lackluster. Let's just put it that way. And so now I'm going to be receiving the gift that he sent me. I actually just got back from an appointment and found this massive box waiting for me outside my garage. Yeah, I mean, let me just get one thing here because dealing with some stuff here real quick, and don't need to see this here. There we go. So yeah, so we get this huge box here. I scratched out my address. I mean, it's pretty decent, pretty hefty. So we're gonna be unboxing it. Hey, what's going on, Renee? And yeah, let's see what we have. Now it does have a Target taping on here, so I'm assuming that he recycled this box from Target, and that's fine. Give it here. I'm gonna assume that this is probably when he purchased a piston pump or something that he did for a giveaway, which is entirely possible. I mean, this is a massive box, so it doesn't feel too heavy. But let's see what's inside. Did tape it up right? That's good. Now, he wanted me to unbox this live. He did say, hey, when you get this up, can you go live to unbox it? And I figured, what the heck, why not? Let's do this. I'm at home today anyways, so. All right. It's a box of boxes. So we got one box. I don't know what this is. We have some shells. Okay, use those like grenade launcher shells. Another box. More boxes. Ugh. This is a blaster. Let's it says it's a bunch of presents. More boxes. It's a box of boxes. I'm going to be recycling this for when I send out barrel shots to people because packing supplies are expensive. Okay. All right. This looks like one of those AGM Mass Tech blasters. That's fun. This is like a shell ejecting blaster. to get rid of it. That's fine. This is one of those little shell ejecting things, doohickeys. Okay. And so I actually do have one of these in blue. I never did a review on them, only because of the fact that I have so many different blasters I have to review. But you know what? I'll compare it. Maybe the one that I got is junk compared to this one. So we'll see. It does have the master key right here. And let's see here. Gosh, these things. Okay. So this is one of those AEBs, technically, uh, that has a grenade launcher underbarrel. Unfortunately, these underbarrels, you can't really modify them to do 40 max, so they're kind of janky, but I mean, they're fun for what they are. This is definitely a kids. This falls into the kids' toy category of blasters, and that's you know what it is. I mean, can't make something that not be what it is. I mean, I can actually switch this out because this is just being a pain in the butt to tighten down for some reason. Oh. Okay. Let's take a look what we got here. Tighten that down. So, all right. So we got this little shell launcher. Now it is battery operated. It has options to put an actually prime like that and fire. And then we have the actual shell and mags in here. Let's see what we got. You can do full auto on this. You load up the shell. This is the only time that I'll ever say that you actually have a bullet, because technically this is when the dart becomes a bullet because it does have a shell, has a casing, it's a tight fit. And load that up. Does have an iron sight of sort. What the heck is going on with this iron sight? Oh, that's kind of cool. Looks like a rook from a chess piece, but and then you just fire it. Now this thing's probably maybe going to get like 45 FPS. I don't expect too much performance out of this thing. You might be able to put an upgrade spring on here. Who knows? Maybe I'll get spicy and do something like that. But yeah, I mean, it's a cool little design, especially if you have a young child. You know, you actually load your grenade, quote unquote, through here. It's cold, but you load it up through here. This is a door that's supposed to flip open. Maybe, yep, there we go. There you go, like so. You would load that in, and it does a triple shots. Nice little thing. Thank you, Gibbs Mods. I appreciate this. This will be fun. We'll do a review on this one later on. Especially since I have all these extra attachments. Let's see what else we got in here. Oh, God. The Aegis. Selector switch. Oh, this is a Sophie 10. This is the one which, if you're actually subscribed to his channel, he said that he wanted to see me do something with. It's a nifty little blaster. This should hit right around 60 to 65 FPS, as is. He sent me this because he wanted to do a little challenge, and he thought it was going to be a Silly Shell Master Key. These guys? Yeah, so he sent me this because he did a review on it, and he thought it looked really cool. I think it looks really cool. I mean, the Sofitin blasters, they're known for their aesthetic, not so much for their performance. But he wants to see if I can come up with some sort of cage mechanism for it to upgrade it, rewire it, and turn it into something that makes you go, wow. I'll be able to tell you right now whether or not I can do that. I mean, it's going to take some time. I've never actually designed a flywheel cage or catted a flywheel cage, but I'm willing to take a challenge. You know, this is something that we can always try and see what works out. I do have flywheels galore. You know, literally this entire shelf back here, it's loaded with flywheels and motors that I have for projects. And I'll be honest with you, in 2025, since things have gotten so ridiculously expensive, my blaster modification budget has gone down. You know, times are tough out there for everybody, guys. Let's be honest here. I don't want to go into any politics, but this is what people voted for, I guess. And you know, it's something that, you know, it affects the hobby when it comes to these things. So, oh, that's gonna be a bit cool there. So this is a cool little blaster. Now it looks like these are 3/4 length darts. They're not actual standard lengths. So I can modify it. The only thing that we're going to run into is whether or not we can actually have a magazine that'll fit this. I could go ahead and actually possibly cat a magazine, you know, use a straight magazine because I'm not going to do a banana clip. And that way it will, let's see here. There we go. It will go ahead and use like a drum spring or something to lift up. But this is a pretty cool looking blaster. Let's be honest here. Sofitin, they're not about performance. They're all about aesthetics. And the story behind the Sofitin blasters are hilarious to me. I did a review where, again, I was expecting something that I wasn't, and that I didn't get, and I bashed the hell out of the blaster. I may revisit in the future, but it's one of those things that as long as you understand what you're getting, that it's not a performance blaster, that it's just something that looks cool, you're not going to be disappointed with them. You know, this is not something that you're going to run in a, you know, competitive style. Maybe an indoor game in the future with some, like in a library game with little kids. But you're not going to do this for anything, because again, it looks really cool. The color scheme's nice. It might be a little bit dangerous to take into like a park setting because it looks way too dark and hyper realistic. Yes, it does have an orange barrel, but you know that Karens are going to be Karens and they're going to just give you a hard time. It does have an integrated battery system, which I'm not the biggest fan of, but you know what? We can actually change this and modify this. What I would probably end up doing is that I would find a way to go ahead and actually hollow this out right here, maybe unscrew this, put a lipo in here, and see what we can do. But I'm up for the challenge. I'll be honest with you. This will be a fun little thing, and who knows if I can actually design something for a selfie tin that people can utilize. We might be able to see more of these in the hobby. So, again, thank you for this one. This will be a fun one to play with. And then I have all these extra little darts. Now, the darts themselves on here, let's take a look here. You did open up the pack. See, these they're FVJs technically. I will use these darts even though they're FVJs and they're a no-no in the hobby. I can actually use these in some of my stringer builds because FVJs tend to fly really fast with stringers. So let me see here. Blast Beyond. Does it have the Sophieton story in here? Yep. Here it is. This one. It changed the name. There once was a retired U.S. Army soldier named Bob. Now it's Bob. I believe it was Andy before. Um, yeah, they keep on changing the name, so it's funny to me. So if you said quit line, So that's kind of cool. Now let's see what else we got here. Here's another blaster. I can tell you that it is. Let's see what's wrapped in here. I'm wondering if this is the one that I actually helped him buy. Ooh, that's heavy duty. What is this? Oh, Jesus. That looks like it's going to be powerful. How does this load? And that's hard to run. What is this nonsense here? How do I load this thing? Is this a drop load? It's a front load blast. Like what do we got here? What is, do we rear load it? What? Whatever it is powerful, that's for sure. I mean, it looks like it has a turnaround. Definitely needs a T-pull for sure. How does this thing look? It's not mag fed. What the hell is? I really need to watch his channel more so I can see what the heck this blaster is because it's got a turnaround plunger and it's 3D printed for sure. Oh, it is mag fed. It is definitely mag fed. There it is. Let me take a look here. Do I have a magnet somewhere around here? I'm sure I do. Is it Nightingale? Is the question. It's not Nightingale. Maybe it is not a big deal. It's angled. No, it's not angled. What the heck kind of magazine does this thing use? Hold, please, while I go get a worker angled Talon magazine or mini angled Talon because I need to see what this utilizes. I've never seen this before. This glass out of the way. All right, so it does fit the worker mini angled Talon magazines. The pusher doesn't want to go in, but the heck? There we go. It's just really tough. I'm gonna have to lube up this magazine. Man, this is not wanting to fire. Go. I broke it on camera. Fantastic. There we go. That's pretty powerful. Yeah. Yeah, so odds my so it's funny you mentioned the Pike. I'm in the process of editing a video, and that is my 10 best blasters of 2025, and the Pike is on that list. The Pike actually replaces the Smiley, in my opinion. So there we have this blaster. I don't know which one this is. I'm gonna have to ask Ryan Gimsmont what this is. It's got some sort of engraving on it. Now there is some issues with the catching mechanism. That's probably because of shipping itself. It could just be that it's cold, but I mean, that's a very beefy prime. So I'm okay with this. You know, this will be fun to mess with. And now for these boxes, what is in here? I do not know. I hope it's a pony. Oh. Oh, okay. That's why he asked me if I had these yet. All right, these are the Adventure Force ones. These are the Busby ones. Yeah, these are the Smart AR System Busby blasters. This will be fun. I'll do a review on these things. And there's another nerfer out there that he stepped away from the hobby. I may actually send him some of these because I don't have space for these, to be honest. um, and I'm all about spreading the love. And there's somebody out there who is kind of well known in the hobby. He's taken a back seat to it, and he's decided that he's not going to be doing so much Nerf stuff anymore. But he still loves Busby blasters, and that's Mongoose Jake. Mongoose, for those of you who are not necessarily familiar with geography in the U.S., Mongoose only lives about a state away from me. So I may send him one of these things because it's more of a fun thing. I actually built him or 3D printed for him the uh, the kit from by Darcy in Australia for the Twist Fury when it came out, um, and I sent it to him so he could modify his Twist Fury. So these will be a fun little gift for him. Now, I will address one thing about these blasters. They are a fun looking design. This is 2025 Busby. These are the Adventure Force shelling, I should say, casings for these things. Um, they look like they can take a pretty decent upgrade. I love the fact that they do a clear plunger tube. The Mania series, that is what these are based off of, to be honest. But these are just the Adventure Force branded ones. Now, they are going the cheap route, unfortunately, by just giving you multiple blasters, but of different color schemes. So that's kind of nice of them, and it's a fun little blaster set. You do get. Let's see what they did here. It's definitely made in China, that's for sure. I got 3 of the same blaster, but different colors. So I don't know what they're doing here when they send these things, like what kind of a set they are. But normally, when you actually see these at the store, they're just in one box set. Apparently, when you order them online, they send them in separate boxes, which is kind of ridiculous. So let's take a look here. This is ridiculous that they would set these up like this. Um, this is probably another one of these big ones, unless they're sending me 2 of these small ones in a box. Oh, what's in the box? What's in the box? Jesus Christ. Okay, so let's point out one thing. And I'm gonna I am not ungrateful for this. It's not a matter of me being ungrateful. This is just comedy for me. And what I find funny about these blasters is that they literally package all 4 different color variants separately. I'm pretty sure that when you buy these, they come all in one pack. But if we can be honest here, why do we need 4 color variants of the same damn blaster? I don't know. Maybe if you have 4 kids and it'd be like, here you go, pick your favorite color. But what happens if 2 of them like the same color? They're gonna have to fight over it. I'll call this one Captain America or Captain Puerto Rico because of the color scheme. This one's actually very fun. It's very reminiscent of the classic Midnight Blue series for End Strike. And then these are just pure Adventure Force color schemes. I mean, this is just it's okay. Now the performance out of these things, I'm not expecting too much out of them, to be honest. I mean, let's see here. I'll be able to gauge this right now. There's a waffle tip dart. Let's see how that. Well, that's not. So it's a smart AR, but it's a rotating smart AR, which means that you got to cycle through. I'm going to expect roughly about 60 to 65 FPS with this. So, again, it's more of a backyard or a basement battle blaster. So that'll be fun. But that's it, guys. This is what Gibbsbond sent me. Thank you. I appreciate that. It is a Nerfmas. Now, the real gift that he got me, which was kind of cool. It's actually behind the camera. I'm not going to grab it right now. he purchased for me a Boxer Pro. Now, one of the stipulations that they had when they got me this blaster is that any modifications that I designed for it, I got to give it to him for testing. I actually already have a couple of ideas for it. The Boxer is a fantastic blaster. That one's actually also on my list of blasters of the year. But there's a couple of notes that I would love to actually change about the Boxer. Primarily the butt stock for it, the parrot stock. It's just not something that I find very attractive. So I'm probably going to be designing something, for that, and I may also just make some more aesthetically pleasing modifications for it. So let me see what we got here. A less crappy belt system. So what do you think about respawn blasters? What do you? So I that is one of the reasons why it ranked lower than it should have on my list. And I'll let you know right now. My video should be launching later on today. I got to finish editing it, doing some little like fun little things for it. I ranked it. It's not in the top 5, but it is in the top 10. Um, what is your issue with the belt system? Because I have my issue, but I'm really curious to hear what people think about the belt system, because that was one thing I would have changed if I could have. Um, the fact that the belts have to be loaded a certain way in order for them to even fire, that kind of like took points from me. See, I've heard that complaint. I've heard that complaint from people. Some people said that they didn't have the issue. I've not taken it out to a field battle yet, so I don't know. I can't confirm that. But I understand where you're coming from and why that would be frustrating. My issue with the belt system is that when you're out on the field, just loading the blaster, you are under fire. If you have to reload a belt, you actually have to lift it up out, take it out, slap a new belt in there. If you want to continue to use the box that it comes with. And my issue with it is that since they made the belt so that it could only load one certain way, if you're not focused completely on loading that belt, you're not going to load it right. And then you're going to go try to fire the blaster and be like, wait, why is it not firing? So that is where my issue comes into play with that design. Um, I I'm okay with the fit of it, even though it is a little bit tight. There's like no wiggle room. You actually have to load it in just the right way for it to securely fit into the mechanism. And I dock points on that. It's not as forgiving as, say, the Rage Fire. The Rage Fire, since it technically uses a pusher mechanism to push the darts into the flywheel, as opposed to a conveyor belt system, you can load it whichever fucking way you want. And the Rage Fire, in that sense, it's more forgiving. The Vulcan, different story. Actually no, I think the Vulcan's pretty much the same way. As long as you just have the belt in correctly, it's gonna work. But that's an AEB. So I mean, that's my issues with the Brute Pro or the Boxer Pro. Um, but other than that, like when it functions really well. So that's why it's definitely in the top 10 blasters of the year. And it it gave us something that we have not seen in the hobby, and that's pro level performance from an LMG, straight out of the box, no modifications. So I mean, I guess in that sense, that's why it's in the top 10. But it doesn't rank higher, mainly because of what you said, the belt system. That belt system is just, it needs work. It's a great start. I love where Dart Zone's headed with it, but it needs a little bit more finesse. So that's where I'm at with it. See, here's why I'm more forgiving with the Rage Fire and the Dart Droppage. With the Rage Fire, I don't view the Rage Fire as something I'm going to walk around with. So the Rage Fire for me is a Stationary blaster, you set up at like an HVZ event or in like a massive Nerf battle, and it's an ambush blaster. So you actually set that up. You have them come to you, and then you get behind and you fire with it. So that's why I'm actually more forgiving with the dart dropping, because that is what that blaster is made for, and I feel like that's the important part to realize about the blaster. Now, I will tell you though, one cool thing about the Ragefire, and if you can find the files for them, if you have access to a 3D printer, 3D print the Ragefire chain, and you get rid of the entire dart droppage thing. With the chains themselves, because you get that rough texture that you don't normally get from injection molded, um, you can actually have the darts that grip it onto the sides of the blaster. So if you're using like a PLA, you're not going to have to worry about the dart droppage. That's just a helpful hint from me to you. Really, it didn't help. Oh man, no, mine worked flawlessly. I printed mine in what was it? I think it was like transparent PET G, and they worked fine. Like they just, yeah, I had no issues at all. The only issues that you run into is that with that is that if it if it if you're not careful when you put it together, you can snap the actual linkage, and then you just have to reprint. But no, mine fits smooth, like snug as a bug. Now, I only tested with the Insanity darts. I didn't test with any other dart type. Sometimes the darts do compress a little bit. So yeah, I mean, I'm sorry that you had that problem. Now, that being said, those of you who are watching my live stream, and mind you, I do invite you to watch the video later on. Who wants a sneak peek as to what my top 10 blasters are? I'll be more than happy to talk about them real quick. What I won't go into is to why they just, they got the top 10. All right. So, um, my top 10 blasters, and you're going to save yourself about a 25-minute video. I'm still working on editing it. My top 10 blasters of 2025. Numbers starting off at number 10. Oddly enough, it is the Galactic Commander. And I know a lot of people are going to give me flack about that because, oh my gosh, it's N series. But you know what? That was the blaster that actually saved N series to me in 2025. It's fun. It's basically a return to form for Hasbro. Yeah, could I do it with a different dart type? Sure. But it encapsulated the fun. And literally, when you saw my review, you see the smile on my face. That was purely genuine. And very rarely do I get a blaster that just makes me smile during the entire review. So yeah, that was one. Um, when it comes to number nine actually, I believe, was Hidolfer. Hidolfer's 3D printed. You can actually catch my review. I was one of the first to review that blaster, and it's just a work of art by Hang Yip Industries. The primary aspect as to why it's a number nine, even though it's a just a full auto flywheeler, is that he developed his actual own wolf core system, kind of like a Noid core or fly core system. He did this himself, and he shared the files for people to use. It spits out darts really quickly, and just the form factor of it, it's really nice. It's a really good design. The only issue with that blaster that I found was that the battery pack, it requires a specific battery for it to function. Even though it is a 3S LiPo, I'm actually going to be making it my mission in 2026 to redesign some things for that. And I'm going to release the files for people to actually be able to use a different battery type and put it into a buttstock as opposed to loading it into the front because it's hard to find the battery for that blaster. In fact, when I purchased three of those batteries for myself, um, you can't find the required battery type anymore on Amazon. So it's like, all right, that's kind of a pain. So, but it's still a great blaster. Number eight, of course, is the Boxer. Number 7 was a 3D printed blaster design. I'm trying to remember which one it was off the top of my head. Um, oh my gosh, I believe there was a tie for number 7. Um, and it might have been between the Ontos and the Excalibur by Silly Butts. And both of those blasters did something that just were not there before. Um, Excalibur, again, it should have ranked higher. However, technically, it is just a reborn Caliburn, so it's not doing anything new. What it is doing is it's allowing you to do half darts and standard lengths, and it is pretty much a seamless integration. The bearing prime on it makes it better than a Caliburn, but you don't get the power out of it that you can out of a Caliburn. So, that's where I kind of took off points for it, in the fact that it is a nice looking design, but it's nothing groundbreaking. I tied it with the Ontos because even though they're both pump action springers, the Ontos, or the actual name is Ontos Blaster for Filthy Casuals. First of all, the name is fucking hilarious. But also, the designer, Waff, he made a blaster that is very minimal hardware, and you can get this thing to do super pro level performance easily. I mean, it is easy to source the parts. It's easy to source the springs. It's easy to print. The actual print settings on this thing, if you use the 3MF file, is just perfection. And I've never seen something like that out of a designer. The Even when you use the 3MF files for this blaster, it loads up the settings even for the parts that do require supports that they just come right off. And that's not something I've seen out of any of the designers so far. So because of that, the Ontos definitely deserves a spot in the top 10. And it's a super 3D printed pro level blaster that you can get and source hardware for by yourself for under $25. So again, when you're dealing with something like that, that makes pro performance readily accessible to even the brokest person out there. So that's kind of cool. Um, Number 6 for me was the Fury X. The Fury X should have ranked higher, and it would have ranked higher had it not been for everything else that came out afterwards. And again, X Shot just did a great job with that blaster. Number 5 for me, that one is where I went to Lidl Dynamics, and it was actually the Calypso. The reason that I ranked higher than most of the other blasters that on that list is because it was something that I'd never seen before, and the fact that it went toe to toe and was dropped around the same time that the Dart Zone released the Buccaneer blasters, or was starting to release them here in the U.S. And a stringer literally outperformed the Buccaneer blaster, and handedly, like almost double the speed. So with the plunger system that Lidl devised for that thing, like it's just perfection. Really cool aesthetic. It's a fun plinker. Sure, you only get one shot, but you know what? Sometimes you only need one. So that's why Calypso was there. And you can actually get that one from Out of Darts. I made one for Gibbs Mods. I made one for Bots and Blasters. I made one for myself. I made one for one of my viewers that I just charged him the cost of filament for. And again, it's just a great blaster. So if you have access to a 3D printer and you want something fun that you can plink with, you know what? Download the files for Calypso. There's like $6 off of printables, and give Lidl some love because he definitely deserves it. He did some great work this year. Number 4, I mentioned the Smiley. However, I gave it to the Pike. The Pike, again, it is a better version of a Smiley. The Smiley, when it was released, had a slew of issues with the actual bolt mechanism because of the fact that it was 3D printed plastic. You had to actually get the reinforced and pay extra for that in order to use higher spring loads. And even then, it's a pain in the ass to assemble. Some of the screws that I saw that were used on it, I actually have one that I bought for my kid. I'm questioning the decision making as to what the hardware was for. Um, and even my prints with the hardware that I got from Out of Darts, my prints that are known to be really hard to break, um, broke just by using the screws that Out of Darts sent because the screw holes were put in such a fashion in certain places where the plastic around it is so thin that the tension from just screwing it in snapped the plastic. And I literally print stuff with double the wall settings and 80 to 100% infill to make it almost indestructible. And because of the fact that they used awkwardly sized screws for the size of the holes that are in there, it was causing my plastic to break. So again, when it's doing that to my stuff, uh, and anyone who actually buys anything from me knows that I print stuff to last, um, I'm going to deduct points for that. So there's that. And but the Pike, on the other hand, the Pike, you're hitting 150 performance, with Nerf Pro Darts, and yeah, I mean that's for a stringer. So there's that. Um, Number three for me, and this one was hard, came to be the Vector. The Vector by Dart Zone, it is, yes, a flywheeler. And what it did differently, though, is it had an integrated B car system that a lot of people claim that the B cars on flywheels are FPS droppers, and that is the conventional thinking. A B car or a Scar barrel on a flywheel just it slows it down because flywheels are not accurate. It's hard to line up the dart properly out of a flywheel. However, in this case, it did not. I actually ran it without a B car. I ran it with a B car, and I did not see a drop at all when it came to FPS numbers. But I definitely saw the increase in accuracy. So, Dart Zone did it with the Vector, and even though it looked ugly as sin, that is something that I made a cosmetic mod for that made it look much better. And You can turn it from a rifle to a pistol, and there you have it. So anything that has the pedigree from a Raven, you know what? It's going to win some accolades from me. So that's why I got number three. It should have ranked higher, though. But there was a design that came out for number two that, again, it was just a joy for me. And that's why it ranked number three. It kind of knocked it out of the number two spot. Number two, again, it's Lidl. And I know that this is his third design on the list, and that is the Nautilus. Nautilus, again, watch my review video on that thing. It is just a joy. It is an absolute joy, and it's a quirky design. That is, as I said in my review video, it's his crowning jewel. I hope that if Bruce watches my channel, he will grant me permission. I'm gonna be writing him on printables, begging him to let me sell it in my store because it's just a fun blaster. And I want to get this out in the hands of everybody. It's fun for kids. It's fun for adults. It's just a great priming mechanism that he developed, and I can't I can't tell you how much I love this blaster. Um, it would have been the number one release for a blaster had it not been for the number one, and that is the X-Shot piston pump, which just it was groundbreaking. Now, I say groundbreaking, and a lot of people are going to be like, "Well, why is it groundbreaking?" The BK1S, the Sweetheart Storm, um, the BK1S, and the Sweetheart Storm. Look at how much those things cost, and the BK1 has had issues. Um, Not saying that the piston pump doesn't have issues, but at $70, or if you can find it on sale for 40, I can deal with it only preferring certain darts and not using really worn out darts on it. At $40 for that, that's an acceptable flaw, quote unquote. But other than that, they basically proved that you can make a pro level uh, AEB and release it to the masses and have it be good. So that's why they got that one. Yeah, and I understand where you're coming from, Dex. That's where my list. It's not a matter of like how much fun you're having with it. It's a matter of what it does, and that's where I have to give it with the piston pump. I mean, you're able to run it in a 150 round with full auto, so you can technically keep up with those of you who like those who like to mag dump. Not as much as say someone who's running an SPF, but you can get those four darts out, and you have the accuracy of a not a stringer, a springer. Um, again, I'm leaning more towards that. Now, when it comes to fun, and using it in battle, honestly, my favorite one to use is the Vector, from 2025. The one that like brought a joy to my face when I brought it out was that blaster, because I was just like, wow, this thing's like it's fantastic to use. But the design philosophy behind it is nothing that I had not seen before. It just perfected it. So that's why it kind of went down. The most fun blaster I've used, like hands down, the most fun blaster I've used of 2025 is the Nautilus. Um, and again, I can't stress how fun that thing is. So that's why. No, for that, if you're flanking, um, I don't know what your budget's like, and it's not a 2025 blaster at all. If you're flanking and you need to unload on people, hands down, if you have space for extra mags, Worker Phoenix 2.0 or a Blink. Um, Worker Phoenix 2.0 over the Blink if you have the budget for it, because of the fact that you can literally shoot out 18 darts in less than 2 seconds. And yeah, just it's a room spreader. That's what it is. That is actually my preferred flywheel of choice. I have mine modified so that it's hitting right around 200, and yeah, it's a beast. It is a fucking beast. And if you're a scout type, I would probably recommend getting a quick, and just keeping extra mags and just and just doing that. Um, yeah, both are acceptable blasters. So it really depends as to what you're using. What do you have here? Oh, the MPC 9. That's actually on my list. I've seen the file. I kind of want to build one. How is it when it comes to wiring it? Because that one uses a fly core system, right? It just uses the N20 motor. I have an extra N20 motor. That's what I'm asking. You're just super aggressive. Oh, that's fine. Yeah, I am actually one of those that because of my disability, I can't be as aggressive on the field. I can't charge. Um, but uh, like I tell people, if somebody lays down covering fire and I'm able to get into behind cover with my Phoenix, good luck. Because that is one of those things where I've actually attuned that blaster and I've tuned myself to my playing style where I don't need to see you. I don't need to see line of sight. If I know that you're behind cover and I am able to do the right angle, you're getting hit. Because I've measured the geometry. It's how I was in school. And it's actually how I played in a lot of online games, as a combat engineer, not in real life, but like in online video games. Um, I would learn how to be able to bounce my shots and angle shots, like almost like a grenade launcher type thing, to hit people. So I use that in Nerf wars and pretty much to my advantage. I've gotten a couple of shots with people where like they're like, "Where were you?" I'm like, "I was two covers behind you. I knew where you were at, and I just angled my shot over the cover and it hit you. So, um, all right, I'll have to check it out. So I mean, that's how I felt about Hidolfer. Hidolfer was a pain in the ass to wire, but it's fun to use. So I'll have to check that one out. The MPC 9. I know that you can get the hardware kit from Out of Darts. Um, I'm pretty sure. Is it now? Correct me if I'm wrong. Does it use standard flywheels? Is it worker? I'm sorry. Is it what are the other ones? Hurricane wheels, or is it micro flywheels? All right. Hey man, have fun with your doctor's appointment. So, but that was it, guys. I know it was a short live. I just want to do this unboxing here. Gims Monty actually asked me. He's like, "Hey, can you do it live?" I was like, "Sure, I'll be more than happy to do it." Um, it's it was a fun little collection here. I gotta have to figure out what I'm gonna do with these blasters now because I'm running out of space. I might be listing some things from my private stock, older blasters that I gotta circulate out into the store and just rehome them. So be on the lookout. There might be some project blasters out there for people who want to work on something. Um, and yeah, things that are a little too spicy to actually donate to Goodwill. So there you have it. But I want to thank y'all for watching. I'm gonna get back to editing my video. Until next time, y'all, keep on blasting. I appreciate and love all the all my subscribers and my viewers. And I'm wishing everyone nothing but the best for the new year.